this whole mess behind you here. I believe it's epoxy and yellow paint.
Yeah,
Is that correct?
Right. That sounds right. So there was a couple of distinct instances of vandalism here at the Longview Pickleball Court. One is obviously what you can see behind me, the paint, but then there's also an area where actually like the asphalt is actually torn up, right, which can affect play. And it's a real shame in part because the courts were just closed for 2 weeks in order to be totally restriped and redone and make it all nice. It's also a real shame because while this is a city facility, it's a group of dedicated residents, the Longview Pickleball Club, that hosts fundraisers and they raise money, and it's a real public-private partnership to make this happen. So when some Yahoo comes through and decides to ruin it, right? It's not just that they're hurting a city facility that's available to us all. They're actually kind of hurting the hard work that these people who love this sport have put in to make this facility as great as it is.
It kind of further go into that too. I mean, this is a city thing, but what exactly are they putting in here? It's like, hey, it's like we've upgraded all this section. Yeah, well, what happened recently within the last week that they renovated this here?
Yeah, so I mean, if you've been tracking pickleball and you come out here any night of the week, right, the courts are usually full. The city installed a parking lot for extra spaces, but then if you come out here right now, we just recently got the benches installed, the picnic tables. There's a sun covering for people who are out here waiting, so they're not just baking in the heat. And again, a lot of these updates are happening, yes, because the city is associated with them, but also because the pickleball club is identifying what needs to happen out here and helping raise funds to make that happen. And the city just helps facilitate some of those improvements. And so, yeah, this facility is great. And then you have people who decide that what they want to do with their time is come out and like make it less excellent for everyone. It's just really unfortunate.
Yeah, absolutely. And as far as the two separate incidents, what happened in each of those incidents? Also, when did they happen? How far apart were they too?
Yeah, over the course of a couple months. And we actually last year had another incident where someone hurt the asphalt of the court. And it's a broader point that vandalism occurs across city facilities and at parks, and it also tends to see an uptick during the summer months. And a lot of that is because people have more time on their hands. Also, the heat makes us cranky, and so people who are both bored and mad want to take it out on something, and sometimes they resort to vandalism, right? But there are real costs associated with that. One, you personally can experience a real cost if you get caught, right? Because it's illegal. But two, it takes money and it takes time to fix the issues that are caused by vandalism. So we really want to encourage everyone to be like mindful of paying attention to their surroundings and helping us identify when things go wrong. One of the hard things about these issues is if we're not out here when someone throws paint all over the court, it's hard to retroactively find out who they are or where they are or what they did, right? We don't have cameras monitoring the site 24/7. And so a lot of what we do in the community, we trust that the residents are going to engage in good faith and not cause problems.
And so as far as the right now and going into the future, I heard there's some resurfacing and some stuff is happening right now. What happened already?
Yeah, absolutely. So we just did a whole resurfacing, but now I know we are looking at how can we come back and cover up and fix it. And those things take time. It takes time to get the vendors. It takes time to coordinate the money. And so that is certainly the next step, is to try to get this back to where we want it to be. But it's not an immediate fix, right? And the pickleball club is great, right? And they're working with us to make those things happen. But yeah, it's going to take a little while, and trust that we don't have additional issues out here at the Longview Pickleball, or at the pickleball courts at Guthrie Park.
Moving to the next aspect of stuff, there's also Broaden Park and what has happened to the slide and everything. So first of all, what happened?
So this is a part of that larger narrative that I was telling you about, right? Like vandalism happens across the city, and it's another example where the slide was set on fire at the Broughton Park. And folks who have frequented that park know that at certain points, parts of the playground there have been boarded up so that it would be safe to still use, right? As there were parts of not that facility. So a part of the Longview Park's plan is to provide new play equipment at that facility. In fact, a new piece is about to be installed. We've talked about it. We've shown that on our social media, the piece that's going in there. And that's phase one of a rebuild of the playground area. So we're going to be slowly adding elements there to replace the busted playground. But it's one of those things, if the city is not planning to replace playground equipment, it's not like we have those tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars just in our couch cushions, right? So you have to budget it for the coming year. You have to make sure, where does that money come from? What is not getting that same amount of money? Like, it takes time to fix something that can be done in a minute or 10 minutes by someone who wants to act nefariously.
Yeah, exactly right. And so, and as far as you said, right now, that stuff is being working on. I saw there's a tractor out there and everything. So
yeah, we are preparing to install the first portion of the revised playground equipment at Broughton right now. But again, like, that's the part that we were able to get in this budget season, right? And then we have plans to build out that area again with new equipment. But it just takes time and it takes money, right? Which is always the struggle.
If there was a timeline, you may not know the timeline. Is it in the next coming month? This is hopefully next to be finished, and then that's next on the agenda. Is that kind of how it's looking?
Phase one of the Broughton build out? Yeah, I mean, my understanding is they were waiting for the piece to get here, and then they're putting it in the ground. So that is a thing that residents will see shortly, is the new piece of playground at Broughton Recreation Center, or at Broughton Recreation Center and Broughton Park.
First of all, is the court still safe to play on here?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you come by the Longview Pickleball Club any night of the week, right, you will see the courts in full use. Now, particularly where there's some damage, like you may get a weird funky bounce, right? You know, I hope no one steps in the hole, right? But it's pretty small. And so I would say, obviously, use appropriate amounts of caution, but it is not dangerous. It is not prohibiting people playing. If there was obviously something that was a risk to the public, we'd unfortunately have to shut down the courts, right? We wouldn't let people play on it if it wasn't safe. So we're letting that happen right now as we work towards a resolution.
Okay, absolutely. And as for any last comments, I mean, again, just to bring up the Longview Pickleball Club and everything and their efforts, you know, is there a way that we can support them moving forward? I mean, because this right here, I mean, Blade, it's just annoying for them. And so how can we as the public support them?
Yeah, well, it's a great question. So obviously they have fundraisers and stuff for this facility, which is great if you want to participate in that. That's excellent. A large part of the reason that vandalism occurs sometimes is just truly idle hands and looking for something to do. And that's terrible to say, but it really is a truth that we see an uptick every summer. So the thing that I would encourage people to do is to get involved with all the great things that we have that can keep you busy, most of which are free. So Parks has programming, our summer reading club has programming at the library. There are 1,000 things to do in Longview that don't involve grabbing paint and putting it on the pickleball court. So like, if you're looking for something to do, just ask. We have stuff that can keep you busy during the summer months.